I'm legally insane, and you're watching episode 6 of my Wii Game Prices Are Going Up series. I figured we'd start with a recap today. It's been a while since I posted one of these videos. Let's just kind of refresh ourselves on this series as I get the series going. In this series, I'm discussing 100 Wii games that are going up in price in the long term. I discuss why they will go up in price, why they are likely to go up in price, and why you might be interested in picking up some of these games before the price goes up, because we have not had Wii Mania yet. But Wii Mania will come. It's a Nintendo console. It will come. It's the black sheep of Nintendo. I get it. It's the black sheep of the consoles. But it's better than the Wii U. That's for sure. And it has a lot of hidden gems on there. A lot of games that were ignored at the time, just like every console. In many cases, we've had a Wave 1 or a Wave 2 price increase especially on the more heavy hitter games. But plenty more are coming, and if you want to get them while they're cheap, now is the time to do it. When I discuss these 100 games, I don't do them in any particular order, so in some cases, I'm scraping the bottom of the barrel. You might be thinking, as you're watching, well, that game sucks, ain't no way that game's going up. Well, buddy, you come up with a list of 100, then come talk to me. Okay, you ain't going to get a better list than the 100 that I just made. But I bring you everything from games that probably you've already heard of to absolute banger hidden gems that ain't nobody know about. And I have one of those coming up here today. A game that I guarantee you've never heard of. I guarantee it. In fact, you might want to put a pair of diapers on, because I ain't giving you another warning. But let's just recap. I'll just give you an example. We've already discussed what I think the first $500 game will be. Rhythm Heaven Fever. We discussed this one already, and it is still climbing, and it will continue to climb. There's no way that this is going back down to $100. It's at $150 USD right now. That's $205 Canadian. If you think you're going to get this for $80, I really don't think you are. $80 USD on the chart here. Or hell, if you really think, if you're one of those retards that thinks we're going to get the great video game crash that I've been told is going to happen for the last 15 years and it's never happened, because you know nothing about actual collectibles, you know nothing about economics, you know nothing about the markets, you know nothing about supply and demand, well, I mean, you're going to be waiting a long time if you think you're going to get this for 30. Your best bet. Okay, I'll admit it is possible if Nintendo reprints it, if they come out with a new and better version, which in 2025, anything is possible, right? But if they don't, this thing's going straight to 500. Will it be the first Wii game to hit 500? I don't know. Very likely it could be. We've also discussed other top contenders already in this series. Ju-On the Grudge, for example. CIB, I don't buy disc only when it comes to these hidden gems. Chart still looks great on Ju-On the Grudge. Currently price charting for $140 Canadian, which is $101 US. Fair price. Previously hit an all-time high at roughly $130 USD. Dip back down. The untrained eye would have said, oh, she's crashing. She's going back down to $33. Yeah. Keyword, the untrained retard would have said that. Prices go up, prices go down. Nothing goes straight up, nothing goes straight down. All I'm saying is sometimes we got to sort through some cheaper games as well. That, one game might be going to 500 from, say, $30. Let's say Ju-On the Grudge goes to 500. Used to be $30. Used to be cheaper than that, but roughly $30 was where she was at for a majority of the time that she was trading. Well, other games, they might be $5 or $10 today, and they're going to go to maybe $20, $25, $30. You might be thinking, well, that's not very much. Yeah, but not all games go to 500. And even a $5 game that's going to $10 tomorrow, That's still a 100% increase, and you can get the $5 game for $5 right now today. Previously, we already discussed 17 of the 100 Wii games that we will be discussing. So today, game number 1 is actually game number 18 in numerical order. Castlevania Judgment, Konami Castlevania fighting game, although they didn't call it a fighting game. That's important. We'll get into that later. They initially wanted to call it more of an action game, but it's obviously a fighting game. That was a marketing ploy, defensive marketing ploy, I do believe. Released in 2008, it was not developed by Konami. It was developed by a very experienced company that makes fighting games called Aiding. You may or may not have heard of them. They made the Bloody Roar series. That's probably one of their bigger claim to fames. But later on, long after they made Castlevania Judgment, they were also the developer of Marvel vs. Capcom number 3. They were trusted with that. So they have a history of making good fighting games. So before I show you the chart, I want to let you know that the game was heavily bashed, if you're not already aware. It did not sell good. And that's important. That's important because a lot of games that did not sell good and were heavily bashed later on gained cult followings many years later. The market wakes up to the fact that, well, maybe the critics were overly harsh back in the day. Prison Break, for example. I discussed that one for the Xbox 360, PS3. There's a million games out there. A lot of $10 games that later become $50 games or $100 games or more because the market got it wrong. And the print runs were very low because they didn't sell. Nobody's going to print 1 million copies of Prison Break if they can't sell 1 million. No one printed 10 million copies of Castlevania Judgment because they knew within the first week of release that the game was a failure. The Japanese sales bombed bad. An absolute, utter garbage fest. Ain't nobody bought the game, ain't nobody wanted the game, and the critics bashed the game before it even came out. Do you think that affected the sales? If all of the critics, before your game even comes out, they're reviewing your game very poorly and saying that your game sucks and that you shouldn't have made a Castlevania fighting game and that you should have made a regular Castlevania game and that the fans were not asking for a fighting game and that the fans never wanted a fighting game to begin with, especially not on the Wii with motion controls, and the fans are telling you that they don't like motion controls, do you think the sales were good? This is before the game even came out. This is from the critics playing the demos and seeing the demos at one of those E3 events. Let's have a quick look at the chart. Nothing much going on here. Trades for $18.39 USD. That's about 25 Canadian dollars, which is a half decent price, mind you. 25.25. Sometimes sales are in the $30 range, 34, 32 Canadian down here, 31.54. Condition plays a role, is shipping included, $41 down here. The game had an initial Wave 1 move, like most retro games did. You can call this the COVID move. 2020 era up to 2021, sure. Wave 1. As you'll notice with these Wave 1 moves that happened during COVID, that would have happened anyway. COVID was just a trigger event. The event would have happened with or without COVID. Eventually, regardless, well, it has not dipped back down to those pre-COVID levels and is instead finding a trading range. Well, what I'm here to tell you today is that this game is gaining a cult following. Every year that passes, more and more people are finding out about this game. Even people that may have known about the game back in the day, they've long since forgotten the game existed. I was in that camp. I knew about the game back in the day. I had a Wii back in the day, although I got mine later. But I ignored this game. I had heard that it sucked from the critics, like everyone else, and I had no interest. And then later on, I discovered that it's actually a little bit of a hidden gem. It's not perfect, it has flaws, but it really does the fan service to Castlevania fans, and Castlevania games in general are very collectible. Castlevania fans are like Resident Evil fans. They are very hardcore. And this game, having the bad reputation that it had, I think gamers are waking up to the fact that it's not a $5 game. It's not a terrible game. And that trend will continue in the long term. It's not going to go to $100 overnight. Now imagine this. What if they release a future Castlevania fighting game where they correct the errors that they had in this game? Because they could have easily perfected this game. It has the skeleton of a great game is there. And if you play the game, you'll see it. But if they came out with another game, hypothetically, I'm telling you, I mean, this game would go to $100 overnight. People would go fishing for that OG. You got to understand, the market doesn't even know about this game yet. The market has not woken up to this game. Now, I want you to imagine for just a moment. Imagine if this game came out on the Xbox 360 or the PS3. No motion controls, although mind you don't even need to use the motion controls. They were originally going to make you use it, and then because of the bad feedback they were getting, they added in the controller support right away before the game was released. But imagine for a moment if this was a 360 or PS3 game. I guarantee you the sales would have been through the roof. Nobody would have been complaining. At least not nearly as much. Sales definitely would have been a lot higher than they were on the Wii. I don't know what made them think that putting the game as a Wii exclusive. Oh yeah, did I mention this is a Wii exclusive? You ain't gonna find this on your 360 or your PS3, making it an even more collectible game. Now I'll start with some of the positives. The positives are the soundtrack is one of the best, if not the best, Castlevania soundtrack of all time. And I'm big on music. I think music alone can make or break a game. So they didn't cut corners on music here, buddy. They did not cut corners. They also didn't cut corners on voice acting. They have some actual famous and professional voice actors. They have a story mode. It's not great, but it's a fighting game. What'd you expect? You think you're going to get Final Fantasy story mode? You think you're going to get a Final Fantasy level story in a Castlevania fighting game? I want to tell you one other positive. It's the characters in the game. Every single character is extremely unique. They play nothing alike. They all specialize in something. Even Trevor and Simon Belmont both play very differently. If you can get past the fact that there's balancing issues and just enjoy it for what it is, a Castlevania fighting game, and enjoy the fact that you can be Sypha, that you can be Maria, that you can be Dracula, that you can be Simon Belmont, the fact that you can be a golem, if you can just enjoy that, then you will have a good time with the game, and I can guarantee that. Because you got to understand, the reviews at the time were overly harsh. They were overly critical. Critics gave the game terrible reviews. Here's some of the scores from critics. 3 out of 10 from Eurogamer. D- from 1UP. 1 out of 5 stars from G4. Dang. Game Informer. 5 out of 10. GamePro. What is that? A 1.5 out of 5 stars? D from Game Revolution. GameSpot. 3 out of 10. So, now, some reviewers gave it a more credible and I think more realistic score. As you can see, IGN 7.5. Nintendo World Report 7 out of 10. Hey, fair. X-Play 1 out of 5 stars. Here's something that's also very unique. These are reviews from the actual gamers that played the game back in the day. I love seeing what people, the gamers, not the critics. I love seeing what the gamers said. And it was mixed reviews, just like the critics. Everything from a 3 out of 10 to a couple of 6s and 7s. And guess what? 6s and 7s aren't bad. It's average. Look at this guy says, a decent fighter if you're a Castlevania fan. I mean, that's what it's for. It's fan service for Castlevania fans. If you want a competitive fighter like Street Fighter, go play Street Fighter. If you're looking for something dead serious with better balancing. 3 out of 10. But there's some good ones too. Don't forget. Look, 7 out of 10, 8 out of 10. Judgment never felt so good. 8 out of 10. Castlevania makes an awesome fighting game. Who'da thunk it? A very fun, overlooked fighting game. 9 out of 10. 2009 review. This game is clearly underrated. 09 review again. No fun when playing alone. 4 out of 10. Then don't play alone, you retard. Don't give it a 4 out of 10 because you're mad you don't have any friends. 2014 review right there. What I want to show you now is proof that the market's perception of this game is changing. Here's an example of a review that was made 2 years ago. And guess what? It's a positive review. 83,000 views. The Forgotten Castlevania Fighting Game by Goin Quote. And basically, if I were to sum up what he's saying in this video, he's saying that this game is underrated and it's really not as bad as you think it is. It has issues, it's not perfect, but it's a solid game. And here's another solid review by Top Hat Gaming Man, one of my favorite YouTubers. Castlevania Judgment, History of the Overhated Fighting Game? This is yet another more modern posting. This one is 4 years old. So we're talking, 10, 15 years later, people are starting to talk about this game and they're talking about it in a positive light. So if it's 2025, 10, 15 years later, 15, 16, 17, 20 years later, and people are talking about this game in a positive light that never has ever happened before in history, the trend is clearly shifted from bashing Castlevania Judgment to praising it as a hidden gem fighting game. Now, because it's a fighting game, I really don't think it would ever have any possibility of going to $500, but it certainly has the potential to double, triple, quadruple, and you're going to wake up one day, and if you're interested in the game and you didn't pay the cheap $20 that you can get it for today, and all of a sudden you wake up and it's $40 US, well, you're going to remember this moment because you can get it for dirt cheap today. Next up, we got an absolutely insane hidden gem that I guarantee you ain't never heard of. First time hearing about this game, right here on this channel, right now. Guaranteed. Super Swing Golf Season 2. This is the sequel to Season 1. And I already know what you're thinking. CIB, of course. That's not what you're thinking. I know what you're thinking. Because I know my audience well. You're thinking, wait a minute. That's a sports game. That game sucks. I already know it sucks. It's a sports game. I don't even need to know anything about it. I know the game sucks. So how could the price possibly go any higher? Ain't nobody going to buy that game. Well, hold on a minute. Just hear me out. Because unless you're blind and or retarded, and some of you are both, some of my audience are both, well, you may not have noticed. That says Tecmo in the bottom corner there. Tecmo made this game. And that's important because Tecmo very rarely makes bad games. And this right here is a hidden gem. And with this being a Tecmo game, you also get Tecmo characters in this golf game via unlocking costumes, but you get plenty of dead or alive characters, Ninja Gaiden characters, and even Tecmo Bowl. Now you can write off number 1. Let's get that out of the way right off the bat. Number 2 is significantly better. Avoid number 1 like the plague. Number 1 ain't going up in value. Number 1, that much we can agree on. Number 1, if anything, it should go down in value because everybody should just put all their money into number 2. So let's have a look at the chart real quick. And as you expected, it's really not worth much today now, is it? $12.30 Canadian. That's $9 USD. Even this game got a COVID bump. We'll call that a COVID bump. Very, very slow downtrend. It had a downtrend going on for a while, but really this is just a trading range. It's stuck in a trading range. Nobody knows about this game. This game is not in demand yet. All hidden gems were once not in demand. That's why they're called hidden gems, because nobody knew about them. The demand wasn't there. That's why you could have gotten Little Samson for $50 back in the day, and now it's $3,000. Right? All of the hidden gems were cheap once because the demand wasn't there, but the demand wasn't there because nobody knew about it. This is a golf game, and you're probably thinking, well, golf games couldn't possibly go up in value. Right? It's still a sports game, but what you don't understand is that sports games can still triple, double, triple, quadruple in price. I could give you plenty of examples, but let's just start with some random basic ones. Cyber Tiger. Here's Cyber Tiger for the N64. This thing's been going in a straight line up since 2011. 2011, you could have paid $1.50. 99 cents, March 2011. 99 USD. It's now increased in price by 20 times. So ask yourself, would you rather pay 99 cents for this game? If assuming that you would like Cyber Tiger, which is actually a pretty good golf game, by the way. Or would you rather play $21.97? Here's a random Wii golf game, PGA Masters 12. I don't know why anybody would want to buy this. And it's trading for $22.79 US dollars. That's $31.30 Canadian. And Super Swing Golf is 100 times better than this game, I guarantee that. Here's more of an arcade-style golf game called Mario Golf. Have you heard of that one? N64. $42.82 Canadian. $31.18 USD. And guess what? Super Swing Golf plays very similar to Mario Golf. Now imagine if Super Swing Golf was called Mario Golf. Super Swing Mario Golf. Do you think the price would be a lot higher? Do you think the market would know that it exists? Because nobody knows this game exists. Sometimes you can even find a very rare and expensive golf game, such as PGA European Tour for the N64. Very expensive sports game. Now this one's expensive simply because it is rare, but there are rare game hunters out there. And guess what? I've never seen this game out in the wild. I've never seen it show up in an auction group. I had to get my copy on eBay. So I really don't think that this particular game is common. And there are such thing as rare game hunters. Collectors. They call them collectors. I'm one of them. I'm one of those insane people that might be interested in a particular game, or more interested than I would have been if you tell me it's rare. Now, I typically don't buy a game. I'm not going to buy a game that I'm never going to play. You know, I'm not interested in buying that Barbie puppy game for the 3DS for $3,000 because I'm never going to play it. But I will play Super Swing Golf Season 2. So the point is, rare and or sought after golf games do exist. There's plenty more. You can look up plenty of the Tiger Woods games, for example. Even like Tiger Woods 99 for PS1 is more expensive than this game. And what I'm telling you is that it shouldn't be. This game should be significantly more expensive than all of those games. Because this is a hidden gem. This is a game with a low print run. I think Tiger Woods printed more copies than this game. I'm telling you that right now. This game is cheap today. It's one of the cheapest golf games on the entire market today. But if the market wakes up to it, it ain't going to be cheap for long. It ain't going to be the cheapest golf game. It's a very unique and obscure golf game. This is not your ordinary PGA Tour style of golf game. This is an arcade style, quirky anime style game. Mario Golf style game, fantasy RPG elements style golf game, visual novel style golf game. Yes, you heard me correct. I said visual novel style golf game. I threw in RPG elements because the story mode has all of them. The story mode is where the game excels, and the party mode too. By the way, the party mode's good too. But it's a really good single player experience. It's a relaxing game. It's not overly difficult. How many golf games do you know have a legitimate storyline? And yeah, it ain't no Final Fantasy. It ain't no Final Fantasy VI, Chrono Trigger, Final Fantasy VII storyline. It's a friggin' golf game. But there's something there. There's still a story to be had. You play the game like you would in a Super Mario game. There's this high-level open world, and you bounce from level to level with branching paths and secret paths, secrets that you will find along the way. So you will advance these levels that play out this overworld map by beating opponents or beating them in a mini game, for example. They break up the monotonous gameplay. It's not just about, hey, let's play a round of golf. And while you're doing this, you are earning money, and you will use that money to purchase new equipment. That's where your RPG elements come in. New clothing, new special items that can give you an advantage. Another RPG element is that you get special power shots. Okay, like fighting game style, fighting move power shots. Special shots that you can do special and unique abilities. The game also shines as a great party game. There's good mini games in there. For example, probably the best mini game is one called Balloon Pop. It's where you take turns trying to hit and burst as many balloons as possible in a limited time, but here's the kicker. So you take turns, but while you're taking turns, if it's not your turn, your opponent is still playing. They're not just watching. They are actively trying to sabotage your shot by basically messing you up somehow. So, for example, they can cause a gust of wind to blow your ball off course. They can cause the balloons to shrink, causing you to mess up. Or they can place fake balloons. And hopefully you hit those ones instead of the real balloons.
Grip that wood remote, stand so steady. Super swing golf too, yeah, I'm ready. Hidden gem status, collector stay wise. Prices swinging up, watch them rise.
We in my hand, no ordinary play. Tee off smooth, send the ball away. Course so crisp like a fresh spring breeze. Hole-in-one vibes put my mind at ease. Swing it, slice it, aiming for the pin. Super swing golf where the fun begins. Hidden gem glows, it's the Wee's prize. Value on the rise, no surprise. Swing it, slice it, aiming for the pin. Super swing golf where the fun begins. Hidden gem glows, it's the Wee's prize. Value on the rise, no surprise. Golf with a twist, it's a gamer's dream. Colors pop bright like a vivid stream. Collectors got eyes, they know the deal. Copping copies now before they sell.
The market don't lie, nostalgia pays. Super swing golf in the spotlight blaze. Stacking up shelves, but the hunt ain't easy. Grab it quick before it's breezy.
Swing it, slice it, aiming for the pin. Super swing golf where the fun begins. Hidden gem glows, it's the Wee's prize. Value on the rise, no surprise. Swing it, slice it, aiming for the pin. Super swing golf where the fun begins. Hidden gem glows, it's the Wee's prize. Value on the rise, no surprise.
Next up, we got Resident Evil, The Dark Side Chronicles. CIB, of course. This is one of the better games on the entire Wii console. Oh yeah, and I forgot to mention, this is a Wii exclusive. That helps with collectability. You ain't gonna find that on your 360, PS2, PS3. Which brings us to our next game, Resident Evil: The Dark Side Chronicles. Also a Nintendo Wii exclusive. There was a Japanese PS3 version that I think might have had this on it, but motion control wise, the Wii is the best console there is. The Wii excels and is famous for having light gun games, aka motion control. That is the modern era version of light gun games. This is the one thing the Wii does good. Everything else, the Wii is inferior. It is the inferior console, which is why nobody collects for it. Comparing it to the PS2, the PS3, the 360, those consoles are significantly more collectible than the Wii. It will always be like that, but that doesn't mean that the Wii is not collectible and that more and more people will not start collecting for the Wii. That's already started. That's already happening. But this is an on-rail shooter. And on top of that, it's one of the best on-rail shooters. Some people would actually tell you it might even be the best on the entire console. Because this is the sequel to the first Resident Evil: The Umbrella Chronicles. But it being the sequel, they actually did improve it, and they successfully improved it in almost all aspects of the game. This is where they really started to perfect how to make a good Resident Evil on-rail shooter. So let's have a look at the chart here. It currently trades for $39.21 USD, which my brain understands Canadian dollars. $53.85. Holy hell, that is not cheap. But it used to be cheap. You used to be able to get it for $10. Back in, I take my shades off for this one, 2018. You dumb idiots could have paid $10 for this. How many of you people own this game today? And how many of you out there pay $10? Because I sure as hell didn't pay $10. Had its Wave 1 COVID move. Currently stuck in a trading range. Struggling to get over that $40 resistance. You could draw a straight line there. That is a very clear resistance level, $40. But if it ever breaks through that, don't be surprised if it quickly goes to $50, $60, $70, $75, $100 if it breaks through that. And it would do that during a Wave 2 move. And we will get a Wave 2 move. They always come, buddy. They always come. You just can't predict the timeline of when. Much like the Castlevania series, the Resident Evil series is very collectible and the fans are very hardcore. They love to collect every Resident Evil game ever made if they can get their hands on it. Resident Evil games on Nintendo consoles are especially collectible, and I understand that the Wii is definitely not the GameCube or the Game Boy Color, but let's just throw it out there for a minute and look at some other Nintendo and Resident Evil games in general. For example, Resident Evil 0, which has been re-released on more modern consoles, the trend is still going up. Even to this day. It's now a $30 game. What I'm trying to establish here is that I think when the Wii console becomes more collectible, when more collectors start jumping into the Wii, when the market shifts the negative mindset that it has on the Wii console, they're going to go fishing for Wii games. And guess what? One of the first games they're going to go fishing for is Resident Evil: The Dark Side Chronicles. Here's another one trending higher. This game used to be dirt cheap. Resident Evil 4, GameCube. Yeah, I get it. It's GameCube. It's a little bit better than the PS2 version. I get it. But this is still a Nintendo. The Wii is still a Nintendo console, whether you like it or not. And it's still superior to the PS2 in most cases. Nintendo consoles and Nintendo games are collectible. Resident Evil 2. This used to be a game nobody wanted. This was a dirt cheap game too. It's the inferior version. I don't even think it's better than the PlayStation 1 version. Certainly not better than the Dreamcast version. Certainly not better than the GameCube version, and yet the price is still going up because it's collectible. It's Resident Evil. And it's Resident Evil 2, one of the best Resident Evil games ever made. Well, guess what? Darkside Chronicles is one of the best rail shooters ever made, and it is the best rail shooter Resident Evil game ever made. Did you ever think about that? Did you ever think what will happen to rail shooter games when the market wakes up and comes flooding into the Wii, and when rail shooter games and motion control games become popular? Do you really think that this game is going to trade for a measly $53 Canadian? Or do you think it might go up in value? Do you like railgun shooters? Do you like motion control shooter games? Why wouldn't you be interested in picking this game up? Would you be interested in paying $39.21? Knowing that you might not get it for any cheaper. Dip down very briefly to about $30, but I mean, is risking this game doubling in value worse off than risking paying an extra $9? Maybe you're going to wait for a $30 copy. Condition plays a factor. Look at this. Mint condition copy, $50. You can't even get a mint condition copy for $39.21. $50 sold listing down here. $29.99 down here. Pretty good price. What was the shipping though? What was the condition like? $34.99, $39, $44.99, $39.99, $50 game down here, $57. Not that long ago, June 3rd. Here's a PS2 game, Resident Evil Code Veronica, with 10 million copies printed because it's very common. It's also been trending higher, currently in a trading range. I mean, this is not even the sought after version. I just wanted to show you that even this common garbage, I mean, it's a good game, don't get me wrong, but it's common. Even this is no longer a $5 game. What's a USD? 15 US dollars. Resident Evil Deadly Silence for the Nintendo DS. Used to be a game nobody wanted. 2015, you could have paid $12 US. Currently going for 75 Canadian or 55, 13 US dollars. Loose disc. So let's see what the actual gamers were saying about this game back in the day. Now, mind you, it did get rave reviews from both critics and gamers. So it's not like this was a complete hidden gem that nobody knew was good. People knew it was good. A lot of people did know it existed, but what I'm saying is a lot of people also did not know about this game or ignored it. Maybe they didn't have a good time with the Umbrella Chronicles. Plenty of 8s out of 10s, 8 out of 10, 8 out of 10, 6 out of 10. Shoot him in the head. Okay, good review. 9 out of 10, 9 out of 10, 8 out of 10, 8 out of 10. So 8s and 9s across the board. So here's why this game got such rave reviews. I'll tell you right now. It's because of all the gameplay improvements. For example, headshots were made easier to help the noobs. I'm one of the noobs. I played Umbrella Chronicles. I sucked at it. My friend was significantly better than I was. A status screen was implemented. Player health bars are now separate. Players can now pick up herbs and use them later. Use them later on. They can save them for later use. You don't have to use it the second you get it. Players can customize their weapon loadouts. Players can customize each weapon from power, rate of fire, reload speed, and stopping power. So significantly more customization options. And here's the best one of all, because you got to remember, I'm a newbie. The game automatically adjusts its difficulty based on how bad you are. So based on your player skill, your skill level, the game's AI tracks how good or bad you are and will adjust accordingly. Another core mechanic of the game is that you can have an AI ally help you. So if you ain't got no friends, you can have an AI help you to make you feel like you have a friend to play on 2-player co-op. As sad as that is, it's actually quite incredible. Right? Especially if you suck, because you got to remember, I'm looking at it from the perspective that I'm going into this like I suck, which I do. So I would like to have a friend or an AI help me. I need help. I'm not good at aiming, but I enjoy playing. It doesn't mean I don't enjoy playing. It just means I need an easy mode. Help me out here. Now, the last thing that they improved was the controls. Okay, they made it significantly easier to switch your weapon. When you run out of ammo in the other one, you would have to cycle. In Umbrella Chronicles, you had to cycle through your weapons. So meaning you'd have to be cycling through ones that you already knew had no ammo left. And you're going to run out of ammo. Okay, but in this one, they make it easier. You can set up to 4 weapons on... Basically, the best way to do it is using your nunchuck. You can just flick the nunchuck in one of 4 directions to instantly load that weapon, and you select which weapon is going to be which direction on the nunchuck. So that's significant. You know, when you're in a jam, you got to remember there's monsters. This is a railgun shooter. There's no pause button. There's no slow down. I'm just going to stop attacking me for a moment while I switch my weapon 10 times until I find the one that I want. You don't get that luxury in a railgun shooter. And they also go one step further, and you can just go ahead and select your weapon, any weapon at any time in the menu system. Filling in many of the missing pieces of storyline that were not covered in the original Umbrella Chronicles, Resident Evil The Dark Side Chronicles gives hardcore fans the chance to relive some of the most classic moments of the Resident Evil franchise, while allowing new players to take advantage of the intense action horror experience, only possible on the Wii. Oh, here it is. Gamers can choose to take on their enemies with the help of an AI-controlled character, or enlist the help of a friend in 2-player co-op mode. Oh yeah, and there's an evade system. A new evade system, utilizing the Wii Remote for a more intense experience. Lots of new options, and the story too. Don't forget the story. Resident Evil fans are going to come back to this game for the Resident Evil lore. Don't forget. Guys, if you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing to the channel. Shout out to all my Patreon supporters. Your support keeps the channel going. Everybody's support keeps the channel going, by the way. Everyone who smashes the like button, everyone who leaves a comment below, the support keeps this channel going. And if you want me to keep this channel going until I'm 69 years old on my deathbed, then consider smashing the like button and joining the Patreon. Link in the description below. I do post exclusive content. I'm getting more frequent with the postings as well. And by the way, I'll tell you a quick story real quick for those that made it to the end. I kid you not. This is a true story, by the way. I once had a lady threaten to sue me for $5. I used to sell on Fiverr.com. If anyone's familiar with Fiverr, I had a advertising service for $5. This lady was not happy with my service. She wanted her money back. And I could have given the money back. I could have. But it was principle of the matter. I viewed it like this. I did the service. I performed the advertising service. I ran a website at the time. Your book, I was promoting her book. Her book sucked anyway. She didn't even speak proper English. I promoted the book. I held up my end of the bargain. Just because you paid me $5 doesn't mean you're going to get sales on your book. So she threatened to sue me. She wanted her money back. I refused to give the money back. And the way Fiverr works is she has a button to click, give me my $5 back. And then I have 3 days to respond to either give the money back or hit no. So Fiverr stays out of it. They want you two to settle it. They're just the middleman. They're staying out of it. So I have 3 days to respond yes. And if I don't, to say no, but if I don't meet the 3-day deadline, she automatically wins the case and Fiverr gives her the $5 back out of my pocket. Now, when I hit no, I'm not going to pay you the money, she then also has 3 days to respond. And if she doesn't respond, then she automatically loses the case. Or she can hit a button saying, no, give me my money back. And then I have 3 days to respond. And it goes on forever. And I made sure that under no circumstance would I not be on my computer for 3 days. I hit the no refund button 100 times. And I would have been hitting that no refund button when I'm 69 years old on my deathbed, yelling at the nurse to get me my laptop. I need to hit the friggin' no refund button. And eventually, oh, by the way, yeah, eventually she gave up and then threatened to sue me. And I'm still waiting to get served. I'm supposed to be attending court in Sacramento, California. That's what she told me. So anyways, guys, subscribe to the channel. I'll see you next time.